Welcome to Podcast Hell. On my show today, comedians Meredith Hackman and Rob Stern. As you know, if you give me a shout out on YouTube in my comments or on Apple Podcasts, I'm going to read what you write on the show. You have two opportunities. We got one for this show. It's from @LousinLoser on YouTube, right? He don't miss, laugh emoji. Thank you, Lousin Loser. I do have a show this week as well. Friendship Buddies at Verdugo Bar here in Los Angeles. That show is at 8 o'clock. It is a free show. As always, support the show if you can. On Apple Podcasts right now, I have 249 5-star reviews. Maybe you can be the 250th if you have an iPhone. Hop on Apple Podcasts. I'm going to read it. Let's get the show started.
Girl, we're about to go somewhere odd now. Times are rising, elevation starts to drop down. Our little secret, don't kiss and tell, you're so bad. I'll brother see you in hell. Welcome to hell, baby. This is Podcast Hell.
Hey, welcome to my super high-end podcast. I've got two guests here.
You got pants on today.
I got pants on today, yeah. This is Adventure Beast own Rob Stern. You know him from his highly successful Netflix show Adventure Beast, which all of you watched. Shockingly not picked up for season 2.
When's the next time you're going to be on AGT?
I don't know. I have to come up with another goofy character to get booed off the fucking show, and then I'll be back. Meredith, how you doing?
I'm good. You were going to introduce me and then you stopped.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, I'm Meredith Hackman of...
Well, I don't know. What do you want your credit to be?
I want my credit...
How about the thing you and your wife did?
Yeah.
What's the name of that show?
When Nature Calls.
Okay. There we go.
Uh-oh. You did do that, and you were acting in that too.
Yes, I was.
You did voicing
I did
and the
voiceover,
stuff.
yeah.
Well, that show...
No, let's get to my risk.
It was great.
It was great.
Meredith's very proud.
Yeah, what happened
I was
here?
a sexy fish on it.
What happened here?
Okay, so
It's not, you're dragging it out already. It's you
I
spilled
poured
hot water
on it,
yeah.
and it burned my flesh.
Yeah.
That's from Hot Tea?
It's from Hot Tea.
Well, because before the show, you were like, we went rock climbing. I was like, oh, obviously it's a cool injury. Not a fucking hot tea spill.
It's a brutal industry.
It was surprisingly
injury.
bad. Yeah.
And so I burned it, and then I didn't do anything about it, and then I laid in the hot sun, and then it started bubbling.
Oh wow, that's like second degree, right?
I don't know.
I don't know the
you get
degrees.
skin bubbles. That's second degree.
It was
There you
bad.
go.
Yeah, that's.
And then I kept Rob up all night complaining about it and reading Shakespeare from my memory.
Your wife loves Shakespeare.
Yeah, I wonder if she had. I don't know if she has it committed to memory though.
Oh, she definitely has some sonnets.
Yeah, you think she could just
soliloquies?
call? I mean, my dad can do that. My dad can call back Shakespeare from when he was at West Point. He's got like whole sonnets.
Did you know my dad's rank was Specialist 5?
The two things people have talked about from our episode last week.
Oh, you found your audience. It is crazy army kids trying to justify their abuse. It's all these people being...
It's not abuse.
It's not abuse. It's the rules, and we all follow the rules, or my 6'8" dad will beat the fuck out of me.
He didn't say his 6'8" dad.
He did.
No,
He said how tall his
dad.
dad.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah, you know all your listeners listen to every episode. It's canonical, so they know exactly what you're referencing.
On the last episode, Rob was here with the internet sensation Andrew Yerman Glazer.
Well, hopefully you got listeners, so they've already heard all this.
Look, the people watch the clips, like the YouTube shorts. I'll get like 8,000 views on a clip from the podcast, and then like 30 views on the actual episode.
Sure.
So people just watch the clips and they don't see the whole thing. But I clipped him not knowing his dad's rank, which was infuriating to Army kids on the internet.
My chill ass dad.
I followed it. He said he was a guard. He gave perfect information.
No, I said So I was wrong. That's not a rank.
The question was, what was his rank?
Yeah.
No, you said I don't know what his rank is. He was a guard.
Yeah.
Well, in all honesty, like I edited the clip to make it go quicker, not to I don't care about representing.
You were trying to mislead. Yeah.
I wasn't trying to. I don't care about representing someone's actual.
You want all
You could
the
have
Army
the part
kids.
where I asked where your dad served.
Yes, and I said Army. I made myself look so much better. No, it's all, dude. It's all cut so that it's within 25 seconds.
It's a great clip.
Yeah,
it did well.
But But yes, I did mislead a little bit. Like there was a part where he said, "I don't know what his job is." I don't know what his rank was. He was a guard.
Yeah.
But like I just made it like he said, what was his rank? He was a guard.
But it wouldn't have been infuriating if you were attacking me. It was that Andrew was 0.
No reason.
He was so aggressive.
Yeah, it
insane.
was. But what was funny, like, so my youngest sister, did not know my dad's rank.
Oh my God.
But she was 8 when he got out of the Army, so it's not like a part of her life like it was a part of my life.
I was not born when my dad got out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just different. It's like, for me, he's the major.
Yeah.
And you call him the major, or he hangs you outside of a 3-story window by your ankles until you say, "Sir, yes, sir."
And your dad's like 7'2", right?
My dad's 7'2", redhead. I don't know. What did the
Also,
guy
did you
say?
just steal that story from the guy who ran the record company?
What? Who's the guy that ran the
That
record
hung
company?
people outside the window, and if they like asked for more money for their albums.
That's Suge Knight.
Yeah.
I don't think he.
Your
owned
dad is Suge Knight.
I don't think he owned a record company.
Look.
I think he Suge Knight.
Death Row Records.
Yeah.
Did he start that?
Yeah, that's his record company.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry.
I know all about that.
Apparently you do.
Death Row vs. Bad
You
Boy.
stole Suge Knight's story and made it about your dad. I wasn't going to let you get away with that.
Steal a
I didn't
story.
steal a
It's just
story.
telling
It's just a funny
regular
anecdote
funny
about being.
anecdote.
Yeah, Suge Knight's not the first person to hang somebody out of a window by their
Yeah.
feet. That's happened many times. If anything, I stole it from
Michael Jackson.
Stolen valor.
I stole Michael Jackson did it to his kids at Weebay.
He didn't hang it by. He didn't
And
hang it by
honestly-
his feet.
and
He didn't he hang him by?
No, he hung him.
Oh yeah, he
Revisionist
did do
history.
it. Yeah.
But I, if anything, I stole it from Entourage. There's a scene where Weebay's character, he's not Weebay in Entourage, but Weebay has crossover into Entourage.
Why didn't they do more of that? They should do more crossover
Wire
HBO.
characters
Well, they
into-
just all of HBO should have crossover characters.
That would
just
be
like
fun.
Tony Soprano and 6 Feet Under.
No way. No way. It's my podcast. I don't care how much.
Don't hide it under your crotch.
It's hidden.
You can't keep it under your
It's gonna be an extra. It's gonna be a DVD extra.
She worked really hard on her list.
I know.
Hard on
I'm
this.
sure you did.
I've committed it to memory.
so, yeah.
I don't need it.
I
I've
hope
committed
you
it to
remember. I
memory.
hope you remember it.
She was so happy.
So listen, I'm so happy to have it in my possession. Possession is 9/10 of the law. That shit is not. You better have memorized it. I hope you make some room next to those Shakespearean sonnets in there for whatever the fuck you wrote about my last episode of the podcast.
She woke up early. She was so excited.
Great. Even
I set
better.
an alarm.
Even better. I hope it was 3:00 in the morning. But we're going too far. We're too many things.
Yeah.
Let's focus on
HBO crossovers.
No.
Yeah, let's focus on an episode of
Yeah.
of Entourage that you wanted to recount
Listen,
for your
Band
audience.
of Brothers,
That's why I pulled
Larry
out
David.
the paper. I don't want to hear about an episode of Entourage.
I have had multiple things in my life where in like a hectic moment, Entourage comes back to me. And when I almost got in a fight out here, I quoted an Entourage line.
What'd you say?
I said, "If you take another step towards me, we're gonna have a big fucking problem."
That's a great line.
That's straight out of Entourage.
Yeah, Suge Knight said that first.
Oh, well, I don't know what. I didn't steal from Suge Knight. Why?
Well, you took her list. I mean, you're really.
No, but she started it. She made a list. Fucking
You don't even know what was on that paper. It was
I
just
know
a
what's
piece
on the
of paper. I just
It's
took out a piece of paper.
It's some fucking bullshit that you're mad about me saying. And you probably bring up I bet you have a definition of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers or some crap. I bet that's on there.
Why did you not know what the U.S. Army
No, by
Corps
the
of
way,
Engineers?
Yeah.
If we're just this whole podcast is just going to be addressing the fucking nonsense
Yeah.
you and AYG
Yeah.
were spewing last episode. But I Googled it. It's like 65% of the people employed at the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers are civilians. So it's an army
listen
branch.
to the yeah, but you said it wasn't.
Okay, well, the spirit of what I said is true, which is that if you insult the people in the Army, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, you're not insulting soldiers for the most part.
I can't wait for Eric to edit this to make himself sound like he just said something that made sense.
Well, here's the thing. I'll edit the clip to make it sound like fucking whatever, but I don't edit the podcast to make myself sound better. I just fucking put it up.
Right.
Unless somebody's like, "Oh, you made a joke that hurt my feelings. Could you possibly?" And then I have to fucking go
Talk about
back.
Brad
and-
Stoll.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since we brought up Brad Stoll,
I missed Brad. I fucking missed Brad.
Yeah, he was great. We
I
missed
know,
him.
man. He would have done this. Like, I've had multiple people tell me their favorite episodes are when Brad was on.
So if only we had a quote from
was
Brad.
like multiple. It was like Brad 5 times.
No.
Yeah. If only we had a quote from Brad that we could say on the podcast right now.
Do you have one right now?
Rob, would you like to read Brad? Sure. I said, hey, I'm going on Eric's podcast in 30 minutes. If you'd like to say anything to insult him, let me know.
Okay, great.
This is his response.
Tell him thanks for putting out a 2-minute BYE bye-week video. It's totally not confusing us with his old quarterback podcast.
That was the most insulting thing he could think of.
Yeah.
I was like, Brad.
Hey, man,
Brad misses Eric.
That's a good friend.
He misses LA. He'll be back in like 3 months.
Yeah. Should I pull up the entire text exchange I had with Brad where we just talk about how much he misses you?
Not unless you can, against his consent.
No, let's just read everything I've ever said to
You're
Brad.
going to text
No,
rape him
definitely
on my
read
podcast?
off your phone for the entire podcast.
Don't read.
Nobody's watching this. They're barely listening
A lot of
to
people
it.
They will when
watching
he
this.
cuts the clip to make us look like assholes.
My
boy.
biggest concern is that the battery on my phone is going to die. That's the real concern here.
Who cares?
I mean, that's true. If it does die, then it'll just cut to the audio that
Yeah.
we're doing now. And like, I've done that before. It's
That'd
not
be
the end of
really
the
Yeah.
world.
They
We
put
just-
up like a funny picture.
Yeah, that's what I've done.
Yeah.
But we will have a hard out at an hour.
We know about your hard outs.
It'll be a hard out.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Just read the fucking list. God
Oh,
damn
I
it.
knew it.
She's gonna be in a fucking bad mood. He was in a bad mood last
is
episode because I
warm.
said the
I
name
was in a
of the
bad mood
show.
this morning.
Warm.
Were you really?
That's why we're late. Yeah.
Why are you in a bad mood?
I just woke up in a bad mood. You don't wake up in bad moods sometimes?
I do, but I it helps me to like look at my wife and go, I'm in a bad mood, and I just like
That's literally what I did.
I talk through my
I'm in a bad mood.
Oh, he
No,
does
for
the
me, I
opposite.
need space. I go, I'm in a bad mood. And then I need like 20 minutes of just like my thoughts.
I'll just be like, I'm in a bad mood. Maybe the temperature's not right. Go fix the temperature. Like I'll just be like a fucking
That's
baby.
what I do. I do a list of
So-
things that might be the reason I'm mad.
So I have a service I'm thinking I could employ, which is like I want to build a business where it's a phone number or whatever, and you just call it, and we have your info already at the company, and we know what pisses you off. And as soon as you call it, somebody picks up and they just go, I think they should disband the army. And you just go, you motherfucking what? And you just get to get it all out.
Yeah.
When you're feeling it. And so that way it's just like on call. We see Eric's number, pull up Eric's file. We just go, what would we say? What would be like a good Eric?
Like a thing.
Let's pull the list. We just pull up Meredith's list.
Yeah. I mean, Liz caught me yesterday. Like, I didn't know she was in the house. So I was downstairs. And I was full fighting with my dad, like, to myself.
Yeah, in your head.
Talking. And at one point I was pointing. I was going, you fucking... And she goes, Eric? And I just turned. She's, like, right there. And I was like... How fucking long have you been there? She was like, enough to see you pointing and talking to yourself. And I was like, well, I guess I have schizophrenia now. Like, she's watching me go, like, over the stove.
Yeah.
And another thing, Dad.
No, we've all done that. You have to point. I do that too.
You point?
I do a lot of do a lot of faces.
Yeah, I do like I can't believe you just said that.
Yeah, but I usually do. I
In
don't
my
say the
head.
words out loud. I have the conversation in my head, and then I like react.
I kind of like mumble them a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Like I was mumbling to myself.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's it was.
I think everybody does.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, people talk about, you always have you relive the arguments in the shower.
Because you're like, this is what I should have said.
Yeah, this is what I would have said in that moment, and I wish I could go back and
Yeah.
That's what I told Liz. I was like, you know, she's like been in the bathroom before, like doing her makeup when I'm taking a shower, and heard me talking to myself in the shower. I don't feel embarrassed there. No. I'm like, hey, this is my place. There's water running. It means I'm living through things I wish I had said.
Yeah,
Over the fucking over the oven.
It's the knowing she's
Making
there
food.
versus not knowing she's there. Because
Yeah.
like if she knows that you know she's there, then you're making a choice to say this stuff in front of her. But if she knows that you don't know that she's there, then you're a crazy person.
Yeah, it felt like she should. I've thought she should have announced herself sooner. Like if I come downstairs and I see her, she doesn't ever do that.
No.
But if I saw her doing that, I go, Liz, I can see you. Like I would let her know right away. I wouldn't come all the way down the stairs and then stand 3 feet.
You're doing something
Well, you
funny.
remember what she fucking did here with you guys when she was showing the tour of the house?
I can't believe
Why
you're
are you bringing this up on a podcast?
Fuck it.
We have repressed this so that we never bring it up on a podcast.
we're doing you
We're
a
First
favor.
nice
off, they
friends.
weren't all pubes. Okay, it wasn't all pubes.
All right, well, now you have to work backward and explain.
So we come over to Eric and Liz's,
Oh my
and
God.
it's spotless.
Eric.
It is so clean. It's very clear that somebody put a lot of work into making the
Not
house
Eric.
gorgeous. Liz is clearly the one who did because she's super excited to just give us a little tour of the house. She starts walking us around, showing us how everything's clean and spotless. She's so proud of the house and how much she cleaned it that she goes into the bathroom and doesn't just show us the bathroom. She wants to show us how clean she made the tub. She pulls the shower curtain back, and there is a pile of pubes in the tub, which would be totally fine. Like, she could see it, but then she's so angry, she swings the shower curtain wide open and then goes, Eric, I just cleaned this, and gestures down. So all of us are forced to look down and see a pile of Eric's pubes.
Yeah, in that moment, she wanted to humiliate me.
I ran. I mean, to be fair, I was like, I understand that this is your dignity at stake, and I ran. You know,
Yeah, I mean, it was a mixture of like elation.
stayed. Rob
It was
stayed and
very
pointed
funny, but it
also.
was
Yeah, and
also
laughed.
like, oh, this is
This is tough.
Well, it was. I'm surprised you bring it up. To me, it was a very bonding. Like, you know, there's these moments in a couple relationship where you guys like cross the boundary into like, oh, we're like deep in each
too
other's
close.
business. Well, I mean, I like it. I like it,
kind
but
of
it is like
becomes
a
little
weird
more
moment where.
more like family than friends.
Yes,
Like,
right.
you
That
kinda-
that was a moment where it's just like, man, we're just gonna tell everything about each other to each other. And,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a great memory.
two of her wildest moments, because she's usually like pretty composed, but it was that, and then it was the throwing of the Catan cards in my face after a victory.
That was insane.
Both
Yeah.
happened in front of
Yeah,
you guys.
yeah.
Where
She's very comfortable in front of us. Makes us happy.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Yeah.
I did think that you were going to say 2 of our closest friends have seen my pubes. That's what I thought you were.
No, it's you guys.
The best is when you're a couple friends and you have that first moment where it's like, oh, we're gonna have like real fights in front of each other, and it doesn't change the dynamic at all.
Rob has very sweet rules though about like stuff like that being just for us.
What do you mean?
You know, like
I do like I try to practice keeping some things sacred.
For you two, you mean?
Yeah, well, just in life.
In
Like,
life.
it's like
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
certain things that you have to put, I think it's important to put on a pedestal and be like, this is something I don't joke about or even talk about. This is something that actually like, and I think in the same vein, there should be like some things that couples are just like, this has to be our little, and I know you and Liz have tons of like inside jokes.
Sure.
And stuff.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I just mean, like, you want to have like at least enough of that stuff where it's like, this is ours.
yeah, and it's not like bad things. It's like oh, like a sweet little joke. It's just like, yeah, that's just for us. That's not a joke for us to share with people. It's like a funny thing that we have.
Which is hard because we're comedians. So
Right.
it is. There
I wanna
is
tell
moments
everybody.
where we go, that would be really funny, but it's also like a really special
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
We're
I had a
back.
moment like that on stage last night because I did Flappers, sold out room,
Wow.
sold out in the Yoo-Hoo
Main room? You?
You
But Yoo-Hoo room sold out. I almost
Yeah.
prefer.
And you got like
main
20
room.
minutes?
I got 15, which is
Really?
great.
I asked for it. They just gave it to me.
All right.
And it was great. And I was up
Who,
there.
who runs that?
Josh
It was
Snyder.
great. It was great.
Flapper's own Josh Snyder.
It was great.
It was great. I had a great time.
That's awesome.
I loved it. And when but I told a story on stage where I was like, this is like a thing that's like happened recently, and I don't know how I feel about it, but like I do think it's funny. And of course, when it
Kills.
fucking crushed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this is going to be 10
Yeah.
minutes of
Yeah,
my
yeah,
act
yeah.
if I can feel okay talking about it.
Yeah.
But it's like that is a hard line where you're like, I know this will do well.
Yeah.
But also like
I'm getting rid of the specialness
Yeah,
by sharing it with
the
people.
addiction to the laughs overtakes us often.
And I always wonder,
the,
what's mine and what's my family's and what's Liz's. Like, these experiences I'm talking about involve me and other people.
Yeah.
But they are still my experiences, and it's how I perceive stuff. And I'm not obligated to, like, tell a true version of it either.
Well, like,
Yeah.
we're big Kathleen Madigan fans. And she has...
Mad heads.
Yeah, we're mad
Yeah,
heads.
we're mad heads.
And she has amazing stories about her family. And I just think, like, I'm always thinking, like, there was a point where she's telling me stories, and it's like her family sees it, and it's like really funny, but also a little insulting. A little, there's like
Yeah,
a takeaway where you're like, oh, come on, like that's not how it went down or whatever. And then there's the threshold where now she sells out giant theaters and has probably bought them all houses and is like, it's like every time she tells a new story about them, they're elated.
Yeah.
Because it's just
it's hard because now like it's the level of growth is so public because you're putting everything in these clips that you're like, man, is it worth telling this hilarious story about my dad that gets 6 likes? 4 of them are my siblings. Yeah. And so it just seems like I'm talking shit to him. Like, I could have just called him and been like, remember that time you fucking, like I could have done that and that would have been just as effective. Yeah. So it's like, it is hard. Like it's
it used to be you were doing all this in a hidden room in some random state. And then eventually, by the time anybody saw it, it was because you had found success. And so it was like a thing to be proud of. Like, you know, that overrid any sort of uncomfortability about it.
You know, there was it's funny because like I will get to your fucking list after this. But there was a
desperate for
it says quiz. It says quiz.
It's great. I'm very excited for the list.
So last night I like at one point in the crowd I was like telling a story about like a date I went on and I was like, oh, it doesn't make sense. I already said I have a wife. And I go, this is before I was married. And then I go, who fucking cares if you know? I'm cheating on my wife. Fuck you. None of this matters. I'll never see you again. You'll never see me. And I got annoyed with myself for having to give them context to make it make sense.
Yeah.
And then
do your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just annoyed. And then after the show, somebody was like, or not after the show, like I went out to the bathroom and somebody in the crowd was like, can I follow you on Instagram? I was like, yeah, sure. And I gave him my thing. Then I was like, oh, that is how like somebody would then message my wife and be like, your husband confessed to cheating. And I thought about it like, it's just, there is no anonymity anymore.
You
like,
have to explain what you're talking about.
What do you mean?
Well, because all I've heard is you said, I'm cheating on my wife.
I'm not cheating on my wife.
Okay.
I did it.
You have not explained
No,
it.
he explained.
He did?
He said he's a joke about dating that was written before he got with Liz, but he said it even though he's already explained that he has a wife, and so he felt like he had to justify. I'm an active listener.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is why I repeat. This is why when you get in an argument with me and you're like, this is something that
this is why she can gaslight the fuck out of me because I don't have memory.
Because he's like, this is what happened in our argument. I was like, this is what happened in our argument. Yeah. And he hasn't remembered something since the year he was born. Like, he has never remembered something in the entire time we've been together. So it's like, why would this be the thing that you're right about? It's like, just assume that I'm right.
It's super annoying because she's always right. And I just have to go, look, you're probably right. It doesn't feel like I would have done that, but you're probably right, and it's really annoying.
Also, you change your minds about things like every other day.
I know.
So
that is Eric. Eric and I have the same rule,
it doesn't
which
feel
is
like that's my opinion about it. It's like, it's not your opinion today. It was your opinion yesterday when you adamantly said that thing.
Yeah.
I'm yelling now. I'm spiking.
No, I it's the same thing with Liz, where she's like, because she's usually right, I have to, like, there's times where I'm like, I think you're fucking wrong on this one. And it's like we lean towards I'm probably wrong. Well, but then the moments where I can prove that she's fucking wrong.
We hold on to you strangle that. You to go, I will never let this go.
Okay, I can accept that.
Yeah, sometimes.
When I'm wrong. And then, like, the other day he said something.
How often do you feel you're wrong?
Never. No, the other day he's saying something that is so not what he thinks, and I'm like, I'm going to record this. So when you go back tomorrow and you say the thing you actually think,
we'll see what I said. We're not going on any more trips this year, which is total bullshit. I always say that.
He says it
after a trip. I'm always like,
no more trips. I need a break from trips.
So then she wanted to be like, I'm going to try and hold you to this, and I go, I know
I'm to you when you say I want to go on a trip.
I go, I know I'm going to say we should go on a trip in like 2 weeks, but just let me feel this way right now.
Yeah.
I'm just feeling this way.
You're an external processor. Yes. You have a feeling.
Oh, I love this, Eric. And that's external processor, Meredith.
But then he says, I never said that. And if I could just have a clip that says, look, you feel different.
Here's how I feel about that. The Rob you're speaking to now would never have said that. Now, the Rob you spoke to maybe 5-10 minutes ago.
Which Rob did I marry?
Listen,
who agreed to the terms, the legal terms?
That Rob probably would have conceded the argument because he loves you deeply, but that's a different Rob.
That's a different Rob.
Just like you're different, I'm a different Eric all the time. All the time.
How do I get back to that Rob? How do I get?
That was improv Eric for Liz. She calls that Eric improv Eric.
Yeah.
Where I would like play hopscotch and patty cakes with a bunch of level 1 improvisers and come home and have feelings about how we should fix the world. You know, bullshit. And now,
I don't think he was nicer or more sensitive than current Eric. I think current Eric is...
Eric is very sensitive.
You're very sensitive.
You are very sensitive.
And you're very
I cried
in touch.
this morning. I cry every day, pretty much.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
pretty
nice.
much.
Do you fight it? I fight it.
If I'm by myself.
Oh,
But
I
if-
fight it especially when I'm by myself.
It's so great. She'll be when she tries to fight
He thinks
crying.
it's really cute when I try to fight my tears.
It's so funny.
I cried at a video of a today. I cried at a video of a turtle making it back to the ocean.
Oh my god!
Like,
that always
like,
animals.
Yeah. Oh, live your life, turtle. Oh, get out there, buddy. Oh man, yeah, it fucking got me.
I cried most recently at. Did you see the guy who just broke the Rubik's Cube solving record?
No.
Oh my god, it's this kid. I don't even know if he's a kid, and he solves it so fast, and he's so proud of himself. And it is one of the most beautiful things I've
I'm
ever
with Eric
seen.
Turtle.
Yeah, turtle.
No, but it's like a turtle, but a human.
Turtle over Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
If you
Not
saw
even
this
close.
kid, I showed Rob though, and he wasn't moved.
It's hard. Animals, like, I love people, but like as I get older, animals keep creeping up on
Animals do,
fitness
but
and-
I was say grown men crying.
But
If I
Rubik's
watch a movie or something where a grown man's like legitimately a broken man, it's like, oof.
But I feel like the turtle and the Rubik's Cube are the same. It's both. I'm going to say people trying to about to achieve a dream.
I guarantee
Or
that turtle
achieving a
video
dream.
has 50 million views, and the Rubik's Cube kid has maybe 1 million.
Dude, if the Rubik's Cube kid is out there, like, let's
he
hang,
might
man.
he might be a pod
He's
listener.
probably about, like, let's hang. I'll be friends with the
Yeah,
Rubik's
he's
Cube
definitely a
kid.
podcast listener.
You know, do you ever cry during like high stakes sports games, like football games or anything like that?
I've never cried during it. I mean, I definitely have like.
Rob is not a crier.
Well, you don't cry.
I generally don't cry.
I
cry all the time when I laugh.
I literally cried.
cry.
I literally cried when the Phillies advanced, beating the Braves. When I cried when the
Yeah, it's something you
they
can
started celebrating
connect with your dad again.
Yeah, and then I started crying.
You have to watch Welcome to Wrexham.
I actually watched an episode last night.
Yeah, it's
You're
great.
going to get to an
Do
episode.
you know why? Do you know why?
No.
Do you know why I watched
Dude,
Welcome to Wrexham
why?
yesterday?
Because I told you to.
No, because you guys are coming on the podcast, and every time I've seen you for the last month,
No, because there's an episode you're going to get to, and you'll know the episode where you will lose your fucking mind.
is it the one with the kid?
The
family?
No, there's just going to be an episode. It's about the value of sports, and
Is it after? Because I'm 2 episodes past the hooligans.
no, you'll know the episode
I'll know it.
because you'll be like, "This is about me."
This is like Red Wedding level. Like you.
No, it's just like very
No one's
about.
murdering
I'm just gonna tell you like there's an episode about the value of sports.
Okay.
And it's like they wrote it for Eric.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it in
Yeah.
the first season or the second season?
First season.
Is it first season?
Yeah, first season.
I've only got like a couple episodes left
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
first season, so that's.
No, I think it's near the end.
I mean, look, I love it. I told you, I'm a little ride out. Raid.
I love him.
Ryan Reynolds.
Everybody loves him.
His face makes
He's won me over the
He's won me
second
over.
season. He really
Yeah.
He's
You almost
like,
made me cry in the second season.
Yeah,
I did cry.
he's
I
like,
cried while watching.
he crosses the bridge from like this is a fun crazy experiment to like he's like
his life is being changed.
yeah. It's like you're watching. There's a couple of moments where you're like, oh my god, like he's really.
Well, it's probably got to be like the whole thing of that show is the town, right? It's the people in
Yeah.
that town and how downtrodden they are, and
Yeah.
An
and there's
amazing homage to it's about sports and what shared experiences mean to all of us. is
Yeah.
what I think that's like
I was gonna
Yeah.
say like I cried twice today because I cried at the turtle, and then that was in bed, and then right before I took a shower, as you
Before you cut
as
your
you
pubes.
commented
Yeah.
like, yeah, you don't look like shit today.
I said, oh, looks like you really put yourself
no,
together
that was
today.
absolutely devastating.
it was a
if you said that
devastating
to the
backhand
wrong
compliment.
person,
Yeah.
they
Well, the
would
last
be
time I came over, he
devastated.
had like a stained undershirt that he was wearing that was like, whatever,
Meredith
bro.
comes from a line of bullies.
Assholes.
Bullies. No, for real. No, for real. Her mom.
Famously,
I have to tell her mom numerous times. I go, Meryl, that is bullying. What you just did. She's like, no, it's not. Like her mom was that kid in the class who would casually come up with the nickname for somebody without realizing they've just like ruined their entire
I'm sorry, Rob.
childhood.
Did you say was?
I mean, she's still. I still have to be like.
Makes up the
I
nicknames.
still have to be like, stop with the.
Yeah. Like you can't. If I ever told her, I mean, she does know your last name. She's probably come up with a nickname for you. But like any person's name I give to her, she comes up with.
But it's the worst because she's like legitimately. It is.
And then she
it is
laughs.
a disconnect from. She does not. It's that
funny.
type of bullying where it's like, oh, she really doesn't get that she's like
doesn't-
crossing
breaking
a
a
line.
spirit.
She doesn't get that people don't like being called something that they didn't sign off on.
100%, but also
That's a
but
real.
also because she's so good at she really wouldn't care if you came up with a nickname for her. She would own it and love it. And
Yeah.
She
like
has
it's like
Teflon
she
skin.
cannot process that everyone isn't like her.
We're talking about New York Jews. Like she's just tough. Her and my dad are just tough. You know, like they can handle
No, but your
a
dad
lot of
is
shit.
sensitive and kind in a way that your mom is also sensitive and
is
kind.
also sensitive
your mom is
and
sensitive and
kind.
kind. I love your mom.
Nice
But
save, Rob.
I know, I fucked up. Can we, what is that?
Rob,
30,
no.
delete?
The thing is, Rob and my mother have such similar personalities that he can shit on her because he's basically shitting on himself.
No, I have some similarities, but I was going to say that Meredith has the bully gene, and every once in a while, I have
love
to
it.
tell her that she is bullying.
But it's
she can,
fun.
She can just. It's just a.
Even when I was
What
a
she
nerd,
said to you was
Yeah.
just a natural inclination of something
Yeah.
that someone would say to each
Right.
other,
True.
not an attempt to hurt your feelings.
But even when I
which
was a
makes
nerd
it
in
so much
school-
worse because it's like, oh, this came from a genuine place.
Yeah,
Even
no,
when
I
I was
genuinely,
getting-
I genuinely look like shit most of the time.
You genuinely look. Here's the thing.
I look like a guy
Here's
that
the
dressed
thing.
myself.
You can put yourself together really well.
Yeah.
Erick Hellwig can look great.
Good-looking
so
man.
I would
Yeah.
say you are a good looking man, and there's moments where it's like, so when you're in a bad place.
Where was that sentence going?
yeah, Rob's not a bully.
There's like there's moments where I'm gay.
I mean, how many times have I said that on this podcast?
Yeah.
that you're gay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we've said
Okay,
we're
just-
gay
just
multiple
insult-
times.
Just insult Eric, and then we can keep going.
Meredith's getting uncomfortable.
Read the quiz.
Yeah, read the quiz.
Wait, no, I want to keep insulting Eric.
No, I wasn't going to say. I'm just saying, like, when Eric's in a bad place, he dresses specifically shittier than he
That is
normally
true.
would. It's
That is
very
true.
obvious.
You want people to know you're in a bad place.
Yeah.
It is like it's presentational.
I don't think of it that way. I don't value fashion that much. Like I've got like the things I like, but I value comfort a lot.
Yeah.
And when I'm like sad or busy or whatever, I don't value trying to look good.
I agree. Me too.
So it's not like I want people to know. It's more like I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Like I have to be in a good place to be like, I'll fucking shave and like if I'm put together, it means I'm happy.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not a cry for help.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I think everybody.
I'm not gonna fucking slit my wrist. in the
No, and I
fucking
think
top
like
and my
everybody,
pubes.
everybody has their like tells. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
you
my
can
tell.
be like
Yeah.
you get close enough with people, and you can start to see
You know
like,
Rob's
oh,
tell. You've told me Rob's tell.
what's my tell? That I'm in a bad place.
Whoa, what is it?
He cooks food for his
Oh,
friends.
that's
Oh,
true.
my God, yeah.
When I'm
And
in a
if-
bad
and if
place,
it's like-
I hit the kitchen hard.
I walked into the kitchen the other day. He was making a pizza. I was like, I'm going to give you some space.
Yeah, it's
But
like
good for me.
he'll serve me chicken parmesan and then be like, "Do you wanna fucking bake ziti too?" I'll be like, "Sit down, relax, sit down, big guy. Let's have a talk. What's hurting you? I don't need chicken parmesan and baked ziti.
But I want
popcorn.
to defend my family's honor for a second. I think that the way we bully is an act of love. We only bully people we love or in self-defense. Like when I
Yeah.
was getting bullied
This
in
is so
school.
full of crap. I can name
What-
like 1,000 times her
Nonsense.
mom has
This
just
is
randomly
just-
decide to bully
Just
people.
justification,
Yeah.
nonsense.
No, it's an act of love.
Yeah.
And it is what I was
I'm not
going to
bring it up and just say you had a childhood friend
Yes.
that she mentions all the time
Yes, 'cause
because
she
she
thinks her
made
name
fun
is
of her
so
name.
funny.
It's been 35 years.
Yeah.
She's still.
She
Yeah.
still asks about her. But
About
no,
her name.
About her name. She thinks it's very funny. And it is a funny name. And that's okay. But also, like, she's an adult
It's
woman.
not a
that we
funny
should-
name. It's an ethnic name.
No, it's not. You always say it's an ethnic name, which is offensive. It is a white woman.
We have to stop.
It is a white woman.
We have to stop because I don't want to cut shit. And you guys
Okay,
are,
you're right,
guys
you're
are
right.
gonna
All right,
ask
we'll
me to
stop.
cut
We'll
it.
stop. We'll
You
stop.
guys are going to ask me.
All right. Good call. Good instincts.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
very good
It's
instincts.
purely-
That's the thing. You're learning. That's how you're
Okay,
learning.
And it's, by
that's
the way,
to do
purely
it.
for me.
Yeah, no, I'm
I
saying
don't-
that's
Yeah,
that's
no, I'm going to rewind. So, bullying.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid and I was getting bullied in school, I would decimate the bullies because my parents had bullied me.
But this
so
part I
much
don't believe. I don't believe this
that-
for
You decimated your
second.
bullies?
I decimated
No,
the
she
bullies.
also thinks. What did you say last night? You said.
I was hoping you'd bring this up. Remember how I said I was reciting Shakespeare to Rob?
Goes, I once did a Hamlet that was so good it made the cool kid cry.
And it did. I remember.
So take anything she says about her childhood with a
No.
grain
He was a
of
nice
salt.
kid, and then he got like handsome, and then he got a little.
All right, we're not going into this kid.
Okay, I just have to describe the whole thing
No,
about the kid. I
you-
have to describe every person we bring
Oh,
up.
this is Meredith's like stress relief.
I love describing people
See, when-
or having people described to me.
The worst place she's in is when she needs you to describe every single person you met during the day, what they wore, who they seemed like, what type of person were they.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
we think like their struggles were.
Yeah. Early on, we had to discuss what a story is. And I said, a story is not just describing people in a room.
Right. And you know what? Like,
Beginning, middle, end.
right. And so like when I tell people that story about Rob, I just say Rob tells me that I'm bad at telling stories.
Well, you're great at telling
Yeah.
stories once you're once you realize you're supposed to be telling a story. You're a good storyteller. Yeah. But oftentimes you'll start a story and it'll be like 30 minutes in and you have told no story and just literally named like as many people as you've.
It's
more-
fun.
It's more of like a descriptive painting of a
Yes,
scenario.
100%.
Sorry, my word is art.
But I will say this. That's a thing that sometimes ladies do.
Uh-huh.
I want to say women can't tell stories. That would be wrong in 2023, and that'll go on a list for the next time you're here.
35.
It's like crossover. I'm not going to say that because there are dudes that can't tell stories too, and there are some women that are great at telling stories. But for a lot of people, it's a learned thing.
Who's our worst storytelling friend?
Meredith. Meredith's stories are terrible.
Who's your friend who's best at describing people?
You.
Yay!
Probably you. You are very good. You are very good at that.
Yeah, I would want you as a witness to a crime.
You know who's great at giving a eulogy? This chick.
Yeah.
You know who tells stories like a dude? Liz. Liz.
What do you mean like a dude?
Like a dude, like she includes Simpsons quotes. Like, what are you talking
No, I mean
about?
like quick stories that get right to the point, and then I have to go, oh, well, and then I ask to paint in the details.
This like a dude is insane. Just strike it from your
Like a dude.
vocabulary. Every time you say it, it sounds
like a dude.
stupid. Look,
Why does it sound
Because we
stupid?
know so many dudes who are like, oh, well, strap in. You're getting a 4-hour-long story. We have a friend who I guess shall remain nameless who gives us a full slideshow of his stories.
Okay.
Okay, these
Okay.
are not, and they're not any less of men
I'm
because they
gonna-
like telling long stories.
Who's we?
We?
You said we like telling long stories.
No, because they like telling long
Said they.
stories.
Oh, men like telling long
Yeah.
stories.
Many different types of people of
Sure.
different genders and sexes like telling long
There's a
stories.
difference between how most men and most women tell stories. I don't think that's debatable. I think there are differences between
Eric, you know, like
men
5
and women.
people.
I don't think that's
you
a
had
bad
Rob on the
thing.
podcast 2 weeks in a row, and you're like, I know all the men. I know like 6 or 7
Yes,
men, and
and
all of them tell short stories.
And I didn't live before I knew Rob. I just came into existence and was Rob's friend. I didn't have 38 years of life. By the way,
the woman you know the best tells stories like a man.
I know more,
like a man.
I've met more people
Air
than
quotes.
anybody you know in your life. I'm the person that's met the most amount of people.
Wow,
I guarantee
that's a
that.
big claim.
I guarantee that.
And in polling all of them,
I'm gonna say this.
How can you make that claim? What is the
New school every single year.
Okay.
Living on military bases where the kids would exchange out of home. So it was new kids when I would come home. And then all those kids were leaving at random times. So new kids would come in at home. So it was a literal.
How tall was your dad again?
He's 6 foot.
Oh, no.
Literally a rotation of nothing but people in my life, consistently a churn
Right.
of humanity in different parts of
and
the
what
country.
you learned from that is that women do X and men do Y.
Yeah, that's what I learned, and it's not a bad thing if you're a woman who does something that's a little more masculine, or if you're a dude that does something a little more feminine. I'm not hating on it, But
My
masculine
eyes are
and
in my
feminine
forehead.
are things that exist in the world.
Masculine and feminine are things that exist in the world.
Why? Because one's associated with men and one's associated with women.
Associated with, that doesn't mean that it is the reality of the situation.
Yes, it does. Why else would it be associated with them if it's not the reality?
Culture, because of the culture.
Yes.
Societally, we've built up these roles
That's
for
true.
men and women.
If we just dressed babies in slate gray suits, that we would all be the same. There'd be no difference in our personalities.
What?
Women don't have any. There's nothing true about saying that like women have more compassion than men on average. If you measured people's personalities, you would not find a difference.
You cry
in that, correct?
every day.
Sure,
You're not compassionate?
I am. I'm more feminine in that way. That's not an insult. That's not an insult. But I'm saying I also wanted to be a teacher. That's a field dominated by women because being a teacher does require more listening, empathy, and compassion.
Right.
I am a more feminine dude. That's the truth.
But
I also
feminine is different than this is what women do.
It doesn't seem that different to me.
Teachers, I mean, you had a guest on your podcast who explained this more beautifully than I ever will. A man I do not know, so he was great.
Okay.
Who explained the difference between women's sports and men's sports too, which I can't get into this conversation again. But
Was this recent?
recent, and he explained it beautifully.
Was it Adam Conover?
Yeah. I haven't had Adam Conover on the show.
No, teaching is a field dominated by women because women have an expectation of going into that field.
Say that again.
Teaching is a field dominated by women because historically they are expected to go into that field. They are expected to be caregivers. There's a reason why women are expected to go in the kitchen and help with cooking with their moms at a young age, and men are expected to go outside and play catch. That doesn't mean that women are naturally worse at catch. It's what the expectation is, and not all households are like that anymore. Thank goodness.
Women are expected to be caregivers.
Yes, 1,000%.
Okay. Is there any type of biological reason why a woman would be more likely to be a caregiver than a man?
No.
Is there something innate about being a woman that might suggest you have a deeper connection to children than men?
Yeah, we don't leave our pubes in the tub when our friends
Is this what you
come
do when
over.
you are...
Look, I'm gonna read my list.
Is this what... Yeah, read the list. Yeah, I'll put it up on the board. Eric 1, Meredith nothing. Okay. Let's do the quiz.
Eric won. Meredith, Meredith is right.
Yeah. No, I asked you a question and
Meredith
you said,
is
let's go to
right.
the quiz.
Because this is
Ding, 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 ding,
insanity.
ding.
Caregiver is different than giving birth.
It's similar. You're caring for a fetus in a beautiful, miraculous way.
And
that's the thing men can't do. Sorry, but that's the thing that women do. It's a beautiful thing, but it is a biological difference. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Well, there are allowed to be biological differences.
Of course.
But you being like,
I think that
all men tell short stories is not a biological difference. Giving birth is a biological difference.
We have to stop. Read the quiz.
Okay. Would you like the quiz or the list?
I want a gun.
Where would you like to start? The quiz or the
I
list?
don't give a shit. Just read it so it can be done.
Okay. What's your favorite musical?
1776.
Great. Here's a list of questions about 1776.
You had that ready to go? You already knew that?
I did.
I've talked about it a lot.
No, I've never heard you mention it.
No.
I texted your wife.
Okay. But she knew I would say 1776. Okay,
She did.
great.
I said, is it Phantom of the Opera? And she said,
No.
he likes it ironically. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
This is for both of you. Who can name the most signers of the Declaration of Independence with last names between A and L?
Last names?
Yeah.
Adams.
Great. 1 point.
Franklin.
2 points, Eric.
Hancock.
That was 1 point to both of you. Is this fun?
No.
Jefferson.
The quiz about history?
Yes.
I
think Eric wins.
Livingston.
Okay, Eric wins. Livingston is right. Great
Yeah,
job.
okay. Yeah, this is terrible podcasting, but I could name more, but we should just,
Okay,
I got it.
What was the temperature in the room where they signed the Declaration of Independence?
It's probably like 90 degrees.
Yes! 90 degrees. It's from the song.
It's very hot.
Okay. The actor who played John Adams in the movie 1776 went on to be a favorite of many 90s kids in this children's sitcom.
Yeah, Boy Meets World. Mr. Feeney.
Great. What lees does the song The Lees of Old Virginia bring up?
What lees?
What lees?
All of the lees.
All right, I'll take
Here
it.
a lee, there a lee, everywhere a lee, a lee. When will I be back? Shortly. Yeah, I can know the whole song.
And Rob, what lee did Meredith bring up in a game where we were supposed to list the signers of the Declaration of Independence?
You said Robert E. Lee?
I did not say Robert E. Lee. Everyone made fun of me
yeah.
because they thought I said Robert E. Lee. But I said Richard Henry Lee.
Yeah. How early did you wake up to do this?
Yeah, Meredith, what the hell is this?
Rob was very excited about it. Okay.
Not anymore.
I thought it was like a list of things to piss Eric off.
Yeah, this is just like you're
This is
showing
like a
off that I
boring
paid
quiz.
attention
Okay.
during a musical. I
All right,
love that musical.
So here's a list of grievances about how you plan the podcast.
Okay, great.
Because I couldn't handle another list of grievances about what you actually said on the podcast because you just made too many mistakes since the last time I was on. Okay. A podcast isn't supposed to feel like you're making that you're recording a blackmail with friends. So that's just a little. This is like you're making the Nixon tape. Okay.
Okay.
Number one, Rob was your guest last week,
Yes.
and now he's your guest again.
Well, somebody canceled for a good reason.
And I'm a good guest.
Rob's a great guest, and somebody canceled. And I could say who canceled and what their reason was, but it would be really fucking weird.
Okay.
But what's wrong with having Rob on 2 weeks in a row? He's your husband. 2-0.
Okay.
Next.
Number two, the day before you recorded with Rob last week, I came over to hang out with your beautiful wife, Liz, and to talk about Shakespeare.
I knew you'd throw this in my fucking
And
face.
you tried to make us end our hang so that you could record the podcast with me because you didn't plan for a guest.
It's true, but then I did a
Right.
bye week instead.
And then you did a bye week, right?
Yeah.
And
I was like, you want to do it right now?
right, you're doing it right now. And I
Yeah.
I looked disgusting.
She didn't have a list, right?
And
Yeah, she hadn't had time to make
and
a
also,
list.
Liz and I had spent weeks trying to schedule that hang.
Mayor, this is
Pretty
Is it a
bad.
good time?
no,
This
this
is
is
pretty bad.
this is pretty.
This is
Yeah.
Well, you only asked me to do the podcast yesterday, which is on the list. I said happy birthday, and you said want to do a pod.
I thought you had a bullet point list of.
yeah, you gotta make them quick.
I'm getting notes on my grievance list.
If you just make those lists bullet points like a dude, it would probably be a little bit.
Yeah, dudes would do bullet points. I think dudes would invite you over the day before the podcast and then go, "How was your week?"
Yeah, how was your week?
Yeah, how was your week?
That's fine.
It was a fun week, guys. This is fun. I think people like the tension. They like the fight, and this is.
You got to talk more about the Army.
No,
I think
stop
you're
bringing up the Army.
No, I'm telling you, I think you've tapped into your audience. It's
Army
fucking
kids?
Army kids.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I love Army kids. Like I relate to a lot of
Yeah.
what they went through. Obviously,
See, I can't do the list when Rob's here because Rob was supposed to be on my side. We're
I
supposed
was
to gang up
when
on
you
Eric.
said you had a list.
he was, but your list sucked. It's not Rob is a comedy
You
man.
said you had a list,
And then
then you started a quiz.
I didn't say I had a list. I said I brought papers,
Okay.
and then I said, "Do you want the quiz or the list?"
I mean, can I say something? I love a good quiz, and I'm pretty good at trivia because I feel like I'm not like. I feel like I'm smart-ish. I don't think I consider myself smart.
No.
But I am very... but I am very good at, like, remembering words and how they're supposed to be used, and that's great for trivia because you can kind of, like...
Say words.
Circumnavigate what something means based on the way a question is. So I crush trivia. I would crush that 1770s. I'm down to hear all of the 1776 trivia, just not on a goddamn podcast. But I appreciate that you've...
maybe I'll... No.
I think I'll nail... I think I'll get everybody you wrote down for the what do you call it? For the Declaration of
Really?
Independence. I think I'll get all of them. But I don't want to do that because it's going to take me like 3 minutes to like go through...
All the history buffs that listen will be fascinated.
The history buffs?
All the history buffs that are your fan
we
base.
Talk about our cocks like 45% of the time.
You know who else did?
Who?
Historical figures.
That's true. They all
And
had...
Shakespeare.
Yeah. All right.
This podcast is a real brunch feel, don't you think?
What's a brunch
It's
field?
a brunch feel. Like we just woke
Well, I mean,
up.
we're doing it at brunch time.
It's brunch time. We just woke up. We're just kind of like, what's going on? Like we're just thinking. We're just kind of like, what's the world? You know?
I do think it's affected by the time of day it's recorded.
Yeah, because like yelling
100%.
at you.
This is a good time to record a podcast. There's
Not for
energy
me.
and yeah.
No, Rob's all awake in the morning. I'm like not.
She's so upset that
What's-
her list bombed.
I'm so upset.
You just have to live with the
I'm gonna
disappointment.
bring a list every time I come.
You have to live
And they're
with the
gonna get
disappointment.
worse and worse and worse.
Maybe
And you can't stop
Maybe
me.
just come and be in the moment.
Yeah.
Be
And
in
if
the moment?
Be in the moment. You're
What,
living in the.
you wanted to recap an episode of Entourage.
I don't want to recap. No, I just said I remember stuff from Entourage. What you're doing with those lists, I'm serious. This is a real. This is a
note?
This is a genuine intervention. It's not a note. It's an intervention as a friend. As a friend, you're living in the past with these lists. You're going through. You're combing through, finding things you don't like, and if you come on here and just. We're present, and I'm going to say things that are going to piss you off in the next 15 seconds.
No, the only
You're
thing
gonna
that
have those
sucks about the
things.
president, sometimes you have us on, and it's like all we're thinking about is how like bummed we are about comedy, and
Yeah.
it's like
let's
worst.
discuss the comedy
Yeah,
scene in
when
Los
we're just
Angeles.
talking about comedy,
Oh.
this podcast sucks.
It does suck.
bummer.
I'm helping. I'm giving you fodder.
Yeah.
I'm showing up. I'm doing the work. I brought you a text from Brad Stoll.
Yes.
Where's my gold coin?
You know, I did like the text from Brad Stoll.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
Yeah.
But you're prepping. You're prepping for the pod.
What most
Well, the
people
problem
do.
with prepping is that it has the potential to do it. What happened here? It's just like
What happened here?
yeah, you come out and you do like a quiz, and it's clear the energy is like dropping, and it's like
Yeah, you can't-
it
I held off doing the quiz. I held off doing the quiz until the last possible moment because I knew it wasn't as strong as the original list. I knew. Okay, I knew. But I thought we'd have some fun. I thought I'd bring something up and Eric would be like, blah, 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 and then like it would be a little side thing.
It is the thought that counts.
Yes.
I do appreciate that you put in work.
I think she did a great job. We get to shit on the list.
We did.
That was a great segment.
It's provided us a full 10 minutes.
Shit on the list is the name of the segment. Yeah, I don't. Here's the thing. Rob and I had a conversation this morning, and we agreed we'll both shit on Eric. That was what we agreed on.
You guys
We said
agreed
we'll
on
both
that.
We said we would team up against
We'll
you.
team up
which
against
was,
Eric.
Which
Well,
is more.
you did kind of pull out of that a little bit, I felt.
Yeah,
I
he
did,
always
yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Because this is like when we play Catan.
Way to go.
This is like when
By
we
the
play
way,
Catan and we
just
show up and I go, no, please don't, not please.
buddy.
Too far, buddy.
Come on.
Please.
Ooh, Shane Gillis. Shane Gillis.
Okay, all right.
podcast bit.
Okay, all right.
a good bit. It's a great bit.
In Catan, we show up, and Rob and I have a conversation every time. We go, we will work together. Because every time they beat us, and we're going to work together. Oh, the energy's dropping. The energy's dropping.
No, we're
Listening,
just
not
listening.
talking over Meredith. The energy's. Sorry, I'm not talking over. Yeah, sorry, I'm forcing you to listen to me. The energy's. I wonder where the energy's. Because you guys both just blanked out and stared in my general direction and waited for me to finish.
I was just listening.
You are spiraling.
No, this is just like Catan. This is just like Catan. Okay, and then Rob midway through and goes, you know what's more fun than teaming up with my loving wife against the villains? Shitting on her and burying her where she stands. And it happens every time, and
Well,
then I have to Mad King.
Here's what it was. I think it was a good preparation because we were like, we can't let Eric
be in charge.
and then like get us to argue about something that we're like, why
I
would
wish you happy birthday, and you said, want to be on my podcast? Because you couldn't
No,
accept
I said
just a
thank-
loving text.
I did say thank you.
You did say thank you.
I did say thank you. And it's nice. I mean, you guys, the only people that called me on my birthday were my family, my siblings, my parents, and Rob.
Do you like a call on your birthday?
I do like a call. I prefer calls to text. I don't like texting.
Oh, right. You hate text. I
Yeah,
should have remembered
texting-
that. I
texting
texted.
sucks.
I'm
I
kinda
messed
bad
up.
at
I'm a bad
texting,
friend.
too.
You're right.
Yeah.
I know that.
I like a call too.
I like a call too, even
Yeah.
if it's like a 20-second. Like, hey, I
Yeah.
gotta run. I just wanted to hear you say me.
Yeah.
I wanted for you to hear me say the words "Happy Birthday."
I always feel like an imposition when I call. Especially
Yeah,
on
I know.
birthdays. I'm like, I don't want to interrupt if you're doing something fun on your birthday.
But
and I'm like,
here's the thing: is like I think like this might be like for me. I don't know if it is for you because you guys don't have the big gap, but like we're 6 years apart, and for me, like there was a whole chunk of my life where you would just call. You just call all the time.
Yeah.
I used to call people at night, like you'd get yelled at by their parents because you called too late or something. It was just like a regular.
Yeah.
I had no other way to contact them.
So my best friend in high school, Nick Abbott, getting the shout out. I got his fucking home phone number and his cell phone in my head.
Yeah.
Because we would call each other all the time, and it was like that was a normal thing.
Yeah.
And like the idea now of like when I started dating Liz, I had to be like, memorize this number. What happens if the phone's gone? I got to make sure I can get in contact. It took like an actual effort to memorize my wife's
I had
cell
to
phone.
force Meredith to memorize my number. I was like,
do you remember when I remembered your number for the first time?
Can you do it?
Well, don't say
On the podcast, Eric?
I'm not going to believe it.
This is why I prepared. Okay, what are you talking
I won't
about?
believe it.
How many years ago? We've been together 11 years. How many years ago did I remember your cell phone number?
like 4 years ago, I was
4
like,
years
can you
ago.
please remember my number?
How long have you been together?
11 years.
Yeah.
You went 7 years not knowing his phone number?
In Los Angeles, where she knows no one, she knows no one else's number.
You have to
Well, don't tell the kidnappers that.
Well, now you know my number.
Now you know the number.
Yeah.
Which is
Oh no.
516
516.
555.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was like a big that was almost like a big moment in the relationship was when me and Liz memorized each other's numbers.
It's huge.
'Cause it's like,
this day and age,
you're like,
yeah.
yeah.
But for real, it is like if you lose your phone and you need to call somebody, you need to know a phone number.
I know it's so I feel so humiliated with how dependent we are on that stuff now.
I hate it.
Like I'll do it with Liz. Like when we were like literally going to the restaurant the other day. She was like, "Do you want me to plug in the directions?" I was like, "No, I'm gonna find it. I know it's somewhere on that fucking road that I can picture things. I can picture things that are next to it. I can get there." And she's like, "Do you really want to be driving around on your fucking birthday, not able to find the restaurant?" I'm like, "Plug it in." But I can't do the thing where I plug in the directions and then go, remember where I'm driving. For me to find it, for me to remember it, I have to find it. So, but it's like, I never.
Do that.
Meredith, every once in a while I tell Meredith, I go, I want to try and do this.
And what do I
without
say?
it. And you say it's totally fine. We give like a time
support
limit.
you.
Yeah, you're very supportive. It's great.
And then one time we had someone else in the car, and he got us lost in.
That was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't do that with somebody else in the car.
Yeah.
But every once in a while I go, I want to see if I can do this from memory.
Yeah.
And like today, I drove to your house without the.
Oh, really? That's good. Yeah. Your house is easy to get to without.
Yeah.
I have no clue where we are right now.
You really?
Truly.
You couldn't get here without the directions?
I don't think I could get here from 3 blocks away.
Come on. You've been here so many times.
She is very dependent on Google Maps.
I mean, you guys are easy to get to in Hollywood.
Why are you doxing
What's
us?
my phone number?
What are you talking about?
Okay, Hollywood. Okay, they're gonna find you.
North Hollywood.
Shut up.
Okay.
You've gone too far.
This is what I wrote on the list. This podcast is like blackmail. It's like crazy.
It's not the best.
Well, here's the funny thing is it's like I have to remind myself when I do these things that it's like my fear is that your podcast comes massively successful.
Yeah.
Like that would be like the worst trade-off is it's like, oh no, now I'm like my friend's massively successful podcast. So it's like so funny to have a fear. Every time I have a fear about like, but what if somebody finds out about this thing? It's
The
like,
whole point is that people find out about it.
yes, the whole point is for people to find out. Like by the time that happens, you're fucking celebrating.
Yeah. You could DM an apology later, is your thought.
Yeah, you can always apologize. Or
Yeah,
fucking,
I don't know. I choose kindness.
Great for comedy.
And then what time is it?
Comedy shouldn't be mean. I've always said that.
No, comedy should be really nice.
Yeah.
But I'm too kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're very funny.
Known.
She was very funny. She was being really funny last night. It was like, oh, that was backhanded. That was backhanded.
That was backhanded.
Trust me. Last night, she was crushing it. That was worse than what she said.
That was really bad. But here's the thing. I wasn't saying she's not being funny today. She's being funny today. But last night, she was doing some really just, when she gets loopy,
so you want you're a nighttime podcast.
Oh my God, I'm all nighttime.
She would
podcast.
crush like a 12:30 a.m. podcast.
Oh yeah,
she would knock it out of the park.
But also, Rob had taped his mouth shut, and so I was making him laugh with his mouth taped shut. Is that one of those things I'm not allowed to talk about?
I guess. I mean,
I ain't cutting it.
I am attempting to do the tape mouth, which is very popular right now.
What's the tape mouth?
It's to force you to breathe through your nose while you're sleeping. and
Oh, really?
it helps like limit your snoring, which it does. Yeah.
I don't think it's embarrassing, which is why I brought it up.
No,
But
I mean
was funny
it
to see
looks
him laugh
really
with his
embarrassing.
head.
You like putting tape on your mouth. It's weird.
But then you I don't know. I don't know if I breathe through my mouth when I sleep. I don't know. Is that how snoring happens?
It's how bad snoring happens is you start
Okay.
breathing through your mouth. But I don't know. I mean, I don't. I've
The
been.
energy
I'm
really
just
dipped.
keeping.
It's fine.
No, we can't turn on Rob now.
That's what you want to do. You want to.
Not as funny as I was last night, so I gotta pick it up somewhere, Eric. Okay, it's morning time. It's not my time.
Can't turn it on Rob.
Well, that's our time. We are at the
boy.
hard out of an hour,
Yeah.
and my phone's going to die any minute.
Great.
It might have already died. This was actually very fun.
Stop saying actually.
Okay, fine.
Every time I come on the podcast, that was actually pretty fun.
Hey, this didn't suck. No, it was great. It was fun. Look, you got mad at me because I, for a long time, was calling you my friend's wife, and I had to make the adjustment.
You brought this up last podcast.
Yeah, I'm saying now I don't do it.
Yeah,
It was pretty bad.
And you were my friend before Rob was my friend.
right.
So that it's
It made her furious.
it's unacceptable.
It's unacceptable.
It's totally
Truly
unacceptable.
unacceptable.
Yeah, no.
But that's why I have to bully people into respect.
Is that what that is?
If I started calling you Liz's husband, I think it would.
Oh my god! I have
to introduce myself as Rob's wife all the time. Do you know how infuriating that is?
Is that just because you're doing
No,
stand-up?
I'm just older. I've been doing like this longer than she has, so it's like the chances that we meet people that I've known before you knew them.
You're young. I know you're younger, but like, are you like Liz's
so
age?
young.
She's
I'm
19 years old.
Probably younger than Liz. Yeah.
Are you younger than Liz?
I'm like so young.
No, I think she's older than Liz.
I'm older than Liz.
Okay.
I'm significantly. Well, not significantly.
Yeah. Well, you're younger than me.
I'm younger than you.
Okay. Yeah.
But not by much. Let's say our exact ages and birthdays.
Well, I'll say mine. I don't care.
You tell your actual birth date?
Oh yeah, I'm 27.
And they know your birthday was hell yeah.
Yeah,
but they don't know when we
They know when this is recorded.
They don't know that we're recording this on.
Hell yeah.
Your identity's gonna get stolen from this.
Take it.
Like it's all gonna be identity thieves listening to this podcast.
Calling it right now. Eric is definitely cutting this part. I'm calling it right now.
You think I'm going to cut it?
I think he's
you're
cutting
gonna
the whole
sit down.
podcast.
Why would I cut it?
You're going to be like, I gave up my exact birthday. That's
What's
crazy.
wrong with birthday? Is birthday too much?
Oh my god.
Any info that they can use to access your
Bank account
personal
information?
is generally.
I probably will.
It's not the end of the world. Birthday is not the end of the world, but it is like, you know.
So what I'll probably do is I'll probably beep it. I'll give it a little bleep.
Yeah.
Because I will bleep stuff if I feel like, oh, that
Great.
betrayed.
Yeah, give it a little
Great.
bleep.
That betrayed a person. Yeah.
No betrayal.
Yeah, I would just not make it. The point would be to not make it easier for somebody to dox you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like once you put something past the 25-minute mark on this podcast, it might as well be in a lock safe.
Can I tell you something,
with
Eric?
a fucking guard. Like, no one's getting in there.
When I was preparing for this podcast, I acted out the podcast in my head, similar to you did with the argument. I acted out the podcast in my head, and I thought that this burn myself with teeth thing was going to be a real hit.
Nothing happened. That you thought that was going to be like
I thought it was
a
going to be a
crusher?
hit. I thought it was going to crush.
What? How would that be? Like, was there a thing that happens? We all just start joking about burning your wrist?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like everyone piles on to like different ways that.
Yeah. You have to lower your expectation a little bit because it's like I do the same thing. Like I've started the podcast and I'm like, there's this one story that happened this week that I'm going to tell.
Yeah.
It's going to crush.
But that's the same in stand-up.
And what always happens is like as I'm talking about it, I like flub a line and then fucking Brad Stoll's like, what are you fucking smoking weed? And like it becomes a roast and I'm like, well, I'm not even going to fucking tell it.
Yeah.
And like the thing that I thought was going to be the driving, like I came in with the idea that this was important.
Yeah.
Never like either doesn't get discussed or fucking bombs.
Dude,
Right.
anytime I have a stand-up joke that I am super like, this is fucking brilliant, it bombs. Like, inevitably. Yeah. Anytime I'm like, this is the best joke, and anytime I'm like, this is so stupid, it kills.
Yeah.
Like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever thought.
Yeah. I did not have that experience last night. I thought this thing I was going to do was going to crush.
And it crushed.
I was worried it was going to crush because it's right.
Well, that's
And then it
different.
crashed.
It's right on the line.
You were worried about that.
Yeah.
That's a different feeling.
Now we're talking
Like
about comedy again. We cannot.
Yeah. Great call.
I mean,
That was good.
It's about my dad.
That was great.
That is that was a good save.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was about my dad.
Well, people got to see you live if they want to hear it.
Exactly.
Yeah, they do. And you know where they can see me live?
Where?
Josh's house.
Josh's House Flappers. It was a 10-minute set, not a 15-minute set. I lied.
You lied? Wait. Can I tell you?
I felt insecure.
That is such a bad lie.
I felt insecure that it was only 10 minutes.
Wait, can I say that is a very embarrassing lie? Can I admit my most embarrassing lie?
Sure.
Okay, so like a couple months ago, this girl I know and I were supposed to do jigsaw puzzles because, as I mentioned, I'm very cool.
Yeah.
And she said, "Why don't you bring over some jigsaw puzzles?" And I said, "Oh, I don't have any. I gave them all away."
Didn't want to admit that she didn't own jigsaw puzzles.
Because I only played jigsaw puzzles online. And I didn't want to admit it. And that was my lie.
That's quite a...
Last night, I called her Dorcas Malorcas.
Which was pretty cool.
It was very cool.
fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
Guys, this was actually pretty good.
This is not that bad.
Hey, Eric, where can we see you?
Well, for me, you just follow me at Erick Hellwig on my website. But more importantly, you guys are the guests of the podcast. Where can people find your work?
I'm on Instagram at Meredith Hackman Comedy. If you can solve a Rubik's Cube really fast, be my friend. You can also come and see me live at my monthly show at the Sassafras Saloon called the I Need Attention Comedy Show. Follow I Need Attention Comedy on Instagram.
It's an amazing show.
Great
An amazing
venue.
Yeah.
So definitely check it out.
November 17th at 7 p.m. is the next one.
Great comics. Very funny. Follow me at The Rob Stern. Listen to any of the episodes of my podcast. Eric has been on the majority of them. It's called The Rob Stern Show.
Great.
I was also on Rob's podcast.
My wife has been on as well.
You guys are going to have a huge fight on the way home. That should be the podcast. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
All right.